Well, hello and welcome to the Profit Express. I'm Tim Healy, and I'm inviting you to join me each and every Wednesday so you can be prepared to win the battle for business. That's right. Thanks for being on board today. And of course, a big shout out and thank you to our good friends and sponsors at Corbett Public Relations, where they've been promoting and protecting businesses and brands for over 30 years. So listen, do yourself a favor, visit Bill and his team at CorbettPR.com. That's CorbettPR.com. Welcome aboard, everybody. Now, today I want to talk about two of my favorite topics. The first one is improv comedy, and the next one is bad customer service. That's right. Now, you might be thinking, how do those two intersect? Well, bad customer service, which is something that we're all too familiar with as consumers because, quite frankly, customer service, in my opinion, is in the toilet nowadays. But bad customer service can learn an awful lot from improv comedy. Now, improv comedy was something that I got involved with a number of years ago. I did some research and I found out that you can learn an awful lot on how to be a better communicator through improv comedy. So I signed up for an improv comedy class, not to learn how to be funny or become a comedian, but again, to be a better communicator. Now, again, my life as a sales professional, sales coach, and a podcast host, I said, you know what? I could probably learn a lot. And that's how I came in contact with today's guest. And if you're a fan of the show, you know him. He's Scott Baker. He is our resident funny man. He's our improv comedic genius. And the lessons I learned from Scott's class, and this goes back, I don't know how many years ago, they are lessons that I use to this day. Now, how does it relate again to customer service, or should I say bad customer service? Because at the root of all bad customer service are people who don't listen, are people who interrupt, they talk over. That's what makes a bad customer service experience. So if you're the business owner, if you're the sales pro, customer service is a part of what you're doing each and every day. And I know for a fact that improv comedy and what this chucklehead can share with you, and I say that fondly, can have a big, huge impact from taking maybe bad or okay customer service to wow customer service. So that's what we're going to tackle today. And it's a pleasure to welcome back on the show, I don't know how many episodes this is, Mr. Scott Baker. How are you today, buddy?
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening. You were saying something about, I just wasn't.
You just weren't communicating effectively. It's like,
something
okay.
about you were gibberish. I know.
On the cue card here, point number 2 is listening.
Oh,
okay.
yeah. Now I get it. Gotcha. And you're not interrupting. Yeah, I understand.
Right.
Yes.
No,
I wasn't interrupting.
Over.
No.
Yeah, no. But
actually, all kidding aside, I missed you. COVID kind of knocked all the things out of the box for a while, but now we're back.
Listen, the last time you were on the show, you were actually remote.
Yeah.
We did a call-in, a funny bit there. We had you blindfolded.
Yeah.
Guess the business icon. A very popular bit, you know.
Yeah, I got to watch that
Instagram.
again. You said the Ray Kroc one was a good one, right? Yeah, I got to watch that again.
At the Profit Express on Instagram. So, all right, so let me get serious for a moment, even though I've got you on here. I took your class, I think it was about a decade ago.
Yeah, about that, right. I would say,
10 years ago.
Right. I think it was in Smithtown, right, or no?
I think it was. I think it was. And I just knew, because I think I read a book on it or just, becoming more familiar with improv comedy, what you can learn. It's about, listen, I'm not telling you, obviously, but just becoming a better communicator. I knew it'd help me, and it did. And I rip you off all the time with my clients, and I take all your great material. But so now the two favorite topics, improv comedy and bad customer service. So let me share this with you. You'll appreciate this. My wife knows immediately when I've had a bad customer service experience. I'll come home and I'll say, babe, you're never going to guess what happened. And she's like, okay, what customer service person pissed you off this time? No, it's true. It's true. Because look, if there's 10 experiences, I want to get your thought. 10 experiences, whatever, it's a bank, it's a dealership, whatever. I think 5 or 6 are anywhere from okay to bad to infuriating. You have a couple of them that are, they're okay, nothing to write home about. And you might have 1 or 2 really good ones. And I think they're just missing the mark. And I think it's gotten, what's your opinion?
I didn't want to interrupt you, but
no.
yeah. No, I could not agree more.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know if the youth of today can really appreciate, because now everything's an email and everything is automated.
Yeah.
But if you're old enough to remember, people actually answered the phone, in our day.
Oh, yeah.
And we've gone away from that, or it's outsourced.
Right.
And now it's all reading from a script. People, and I use this line all the time, I'm sure you do too.
Yeah.
People are listening to reply. They're not listening to understand. And there's nothing more infuriating when you speak to somebody and they're reading the script. I have it almost on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
And it'll make you, if you're at the position where you can go somewhere else and you're cognizant of this pet peeve, they've lost me as a customer. There are some places you can't go somewhere else. If you're calling a lighting company, here in Long Island, it's LIPA.
Right.
And I can get my electric from somewhere else.
Right.
So the bad customer service, not much I can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I can go to another car dealership. If I go to Jeep and I want to buy a Jeep, and again, not good customer service, I can buy my Jeep from somewhere else.
Right.
Because if you're not pressed for a car,
Right.
you can wait a week or something and you get another deal. Because customer service, to me, many companies are parallel, and customer service makes them or breaks them. Doctors' offices are known for this.
Oh, God.
Right? You try to go to a doctor's office, get through the front desk, get to the doctor themselves, treating you in a condescending manner, as if, well, see that degree on the wall? You know nothing, I know everything. You're not listening to me. You're reading a lab result. You're not treating the patient. And you go on and on, many, many different ways. So customer service is so important.
I'm going to interrupt. Let me go back. You said something where, and this just boils my blood, where the people, the customer service person, the person at the counter, they are not listening to understand. They're listening to reply.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. I actually, so here's an experience that happened like a month ago at a bank. Okay. They had a new security procedure, right? Because obviously, there's a lot of fraud and a lot, banks are always, improving and tightening it up. Okay. So they had this thing instead where you give the license for ID, you have the debit card and a PIN. Okay, fine. So the bank changed it. This is their procedure, right? And I always go through the drive-through, right? And I was going through their procedure, and the guy's asked me questions. He's getting it wrong. Do you have a password? Do you have this? I'm like, wait, what are you doing? He had me totally confused, long and short of it.
Which is pretty easy to do for you.
Not much. Right, exactly.
Exactly. No, they're not the brightest end of the scale here.
Yeah, I'm just a podcast.
That's what I'm saying.
I do some sales stuff on the side, it's not like I'm a comedian.
No,
you
you can shoot for high aspirations, but let's baby step this.
I can dream.
Yeah.
I can dream, Scott. But and you're still my mom's favorite guest on the show.
Love your mom.
Oh yeah,
she's a great lady.
And so I go to this bank, and I'm asking the teller a question in the drive-through. Literally halfway through my sentence, he doesn't say, "Hold on," I'll get a manager, whatever. He walks away, and I'm in the drive-through, and there's nobody there. He walks away, so now I'm pissed. Right, my blood is boiling. Park the car, go into the branch, and he's out front talking to a manager. Right? We're trying to, hash this whole thing out. And I'm talking. He talks over me. I see the manager getting embarrassed, and he walks away a second time.
Now, I've closed accounts. I'm probably not allowed to say the banks on the show, whatever. But I've closed an account with a bank for doing that.
Right.
And the guy it was a substantial amount,
sure,
in the account.
Yeah.
And the manager's, can I ask you why? I said, yeah, because I don't like your customer service. And I pointed to the person. I said, that's the person why I'm leaving. Well, can I make it right? I said, I don't think so. Yeah. I don't think you can, because now every time I come in, I'm going to have to deal with this situation. And it was all because the person was not listening to me. And it was the person that, at that point in time, it had to do with wills and estates and stuff like that.
Right.
And you wouldn't believe, she's actually telling me, she goes, in all my years, I've never seen it done this way. I go, well, you're 27, so I don't know what all your years adds up to. So what do you got, 3? I got socks older than you, lady. All right, so that's number 1. Number 2, you're not an attorney. So in all my years, I've never seen, if an attorney gave me the document and tells me this is the way it should be, maybe you want to check with legal instead of just telling me your 2 cents. How about, sir, I'm not company, let me just do me a favor. Let me just check with legal, make sure if this is okay. I would have, fine, of course. Yeah. Don't talk condescendingly to me. Don't talk as if you the
That's
attorney.
another one I hate, the condescension.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So if I got to go through this with you, listen, you a lot of companies forget I'm the customer.
Right.
I'm not putting you out of business.
Right.
Okay. But it still is my dollar. There are certain companies I certainly just will not deal with.
Right. Right.
It's my dollar. For me at this stage of my game, I'm not putting you out of business, nor am I looking to. I'm just not going to give you my dollar.
Right.
That's it.
All right. So here's something interesting. So you talk about the generational, so if you have somebody, the millennial, a Gen Z, okay, they're in their 20s, more or less.
And I do, just to add to that
good.
thought, I don't want to dogpile on the rabbit with younger people. There are a lot of younger people that are fantastic. They just haven't been taught. Doesn't mean because they don't want to. Doesn't mean they're not bright.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the way society has evolved.
Right.
The schools, the teaching,
devices, social media.
Right.
Yeah.
It hasn't stressed listening as a skill. So it's not that they're not bright enough to understand it. They just haven't had to do it. So
no, you're right. And I've crapped on millennials quite a bit, and I've written blog articles crapping on millennials. And one of them was called "Pick Up the Damn Phone," because again they don't communicate, God forbid, on the phone.
Because texting should not be your form of communication. It should be your form of checking in and updating, but it should not be your primary source of communication.
And you know what I'm realizing on this? This is becoming a cathartic interview, Scott. I'm realizing I have quite a few.
Hold on a second. Cathartic. Try to keep it one syllable.
I'm sorry.
Two at the most here. Okay.
It's therapeutic. Let's say
that one I'm familiar with.
You've heard that one before.
Because for therapy, sure.
Okay. Yes. Well, yes. Of which you are
cathartic. I'm thinking like I got a heart attack with a catheter.
No.
Or
no.
Cardiologist. Cathartic. I'm dead.
You're close.
Catatonic.
You're right there.
I'm right. Something with a C.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a minor league hockey team, the Cathartics.
All right, so I'll slow this one down for you. So I forgot what the hell I was saying.
Wow, see, you're not paying attention. You got to listen, Tim.
All right, so what I'm realizing on this interview here today is
that you should never have a comedian on again.
Yeah, that's note to self. Last time for this Baker guy, he's done. He is done. No, I have a lot of issues that boil my blood. I'm getting pissed off about a lot of things. And my poor wife, she has to hear my wrath. And it's funny because, here's another one. You go to a store, it's less now, but they still, right? I buy, we did a show on this, underwear. Remember boxer briefs versus regular briefs? We did that one a couple of years ago.
That's why I stopped wearing either one.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, Commando's good on you. And I bought underwear at the Gap, and my son was with me. This is 2 years, so he's like 12, 13 years old at the time. And the person, I have, I don't know, say 4 or 5 pairs of underwear. And the person says, would you like a bag with this? Because, the whole nickel thing.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And I said, no, I'll take my underwear in my hand and walk across the parking lot. And my son gets embarrassed. He's like, oh, Dad, what are you doing? You can't be doing this. I'm like, why would you ask such a question? And again, these rants, and maybe it's because I'm getting older in front of your eyes right here, and I'm realizing I'm just getting pissed off at the world, and I've become an old.
Could be because that's a normal question to me. I mean, I got underwear, I got to charge you a nickel for it. Some people, because she may have an experience on the other end going, it's a nickel, and people freak out for a nickel.
Well, remember that when that first thing happened, the whole nickel, people would take all their crap in a bag at the principal. I'm not going to pay a nickel for a bag, and they'd have eggs and cheese
and ice,
right?
Which was hard. You should have ice in a bag,
exactly.
1 cube at a time. They're taking out for the sake of the nickel. Yeah,
but all right. So you said something that was important, believe it or not, and it's like you don't want to pile drive and on millennials because it's not an intellect thing. They're certainly just as smart. It's really how communication happens, in the 21st century and 2023.
Yeah, they haven't been taught proper social skills. I mean, I go into schools and I teach this, and again, there's good and bad in every profession.
Right.
If there's with the schools in particular, if there are good administrators, they want to get the proper material to help their students. Right. And then there are administrators who go, we need to fill a space. I don't care.
Right.
It all depends. But the ones that do care, they're like, yeah, communication is The biggest thing that's going on with the kids today,
Right.
they're not learning how to communicate.
Right.
And they get stressed out at the smallest things. Everything's this big thing.
Right.
And
Overblown. Yeah.
oh, totally overblown.
Yeah.
You know, and it happens to all of us. I always go back to Anne Frank, and I say, if a 12-year-old kid can be up in an attic for 2 years with several families, hiding from the Nazis, and still have a good outlook, maybe my refrigerator breaking for the day is not the biggest problem in the world. You know what I mean? So I always bring it back to that.
Look at you getting deep and heavy on the Profit Express here, man.
Once in a while,
With an
I
Anne
I
Frank
get
reference.
a good fortune cookie, and I remember it.
No, but all right.
But that's true,
it's
though.
A powerful
And these
reference.
and these millennials of these kids, they don't. Everything's because social media gives them a false sense that everybody else having a better life than you.
Right.
So, oh my God, if I don't have this, what is everyone going to think? And
Right.
put the phones down. Just put them down. Learn how to communicate. Talk to people instead of texting.
Right.
You know, I remember my daughter, she used to have sleepovers, and I'd look over the banister and in the morning, and all the kids, you know, from the soccer team be sitting there, and they're all texting. They're like, oh, look at this. Oh, look at it. There's 10 of you in a room.
Right.
Talk.
Right. It's in the same room at the
Same room, and they're all texting on the phone. I was like, it was a big problem.
Yeah.
You know,
It drives me nuts.
she jumped me up a wall.
My son, I pick him. He takes the training, from high school. I pick him up at the train station at the end of the day, and the ride from the train station to the house is maybe 10 minutes, right? And I know he was on the phone the whole train ride from high school, right? So an hour, 45 minutes, he was on his phone, right? Okay. Then he gets in the car, whips out the phone. I said, "Put the phone away." "Oh, I'm just this. No. Just from here
For 10 minutes.
right to home. I'm trying to build those habits because I'm worried. Even with my son, I could see it.
You're right to be worried because it's something that is small. Like, what's the big deal?
Oh no!
But it's not what's the big deal. It really is a big problem.
Yeah.
It really is.
I think it's even things with eye contact. It's. I've noticed it. I have a niece who has an issue with it. Okay, she's 29, smart kid, accomplished kid. She has a great career. A problem with eye contact, speaking too quickly. My son also has that.
And it hurts businesses. It hurts interpersonal communications. It hurts their interpersonal relationships.
Yeah.
But if you're a business person, I don't know. I basically fork my money over to people with a smile,
Right.
good customer service, who understands what you're saying.
Right.
To me, these are the most important things because so many things you're buying the person. You're not buying the company. I can get my coffee anywhere.
Right.
You know, but if I go in and you're an idiot.
You still drinking that Dunkin' Donuts stuff?
No, actually, I make my own coffee at home now.
Oh,
yeah. And Dunkin' Donuts, don't put down Dunkin' Donuts. It saved me a lot of time, a lot of money. Not a lot of money, actually.
Well,
it cost me a lot of money now. No, but it was my therapeutic there when I was a cop. So, and I own it.
Okay.
I own that I was addicted to Dunkin' Donuts for a while.
Okay, so you had a problem, but you've overcome.
Unless you find me another place open at 3 a.m.
So
Oh, I love these great cups.
you like? I gave you your own as a guest. That
And
ranks.
I just want everyone to know I brought this cup here tonight.
Yes.
Because I didn't know he was going to have these cups.
from his own home stash. He brought it
And
here.
to show you how bright I am. I don't know if you can they see these cups on the
I don't know.
They
No,
can, right?
They can
so,
see me right here. Yeah.
So all right, so I didn't know. I didn't see this plastic thing here.
the little riser.
I didn't see the riser. So I just thought he had bigger cups and he gave me this garbage smaller cup.
No, they were all,
So I started complaining. I
Right.
go, why do I get the shorter cup?
Right.
That's how
It's when you Hollywood types,
Yeah.
You performers, you're all
I
uppity.
couldn't, from my angle, I couldn't see the riser.
Yeah,
I was
all right.
insulted until you gave other people bigger cups.
Good.
I'm
Calm
okay
down.
now.
Calm
I'm okay
down.
now.
All right, so you mentioned, so I'm bitching and moaning about all the bad customer service experiences I had. The guy at the bank, and I could go on and on and on. But then again, there's the good ones, and here's the thing about the good ones. Today, I really believe that a good one has more value than it did 20 years ago.
Without a doubt.
You know what I mean?
To me.
Right, because I think they're less frequent, so I think they stand out more.
Yeah.
So my wife and I were buying furniture, right? We ordered a sofa and a chair. And the salesperson, because it was a good experience, Ethan Allen, the salesperson was this woman, Sarah, all right? A younger woman, okay? I don't know, maybe 30, right? And so here's, you're going to appreciate this. So my wife, Carrie Levy Dealey, not great at making decisions. It's not her superpower, right? So we're going on Sundays and this is during football season. Okay, and my Jets suck, so it didn't matter either.
You really missed a lot on that.
Well, yeah, but yeah, so we won't go there. And so we're there like 3 visits back and forth to this store. Swatches fabrics. She has a hard time making decisions. And Sarah, the salesperson, she was so patient. And she did a great job. And you'll appreciate this. She read me. Because I would come there and I would get hungry after a while. Because we'd be there for like at least an hour and a half looking at crap, right? And then like I'm getting hungry and I get cranky, right? And I'm not painting a very good picture of myself today.
Thank God I'm not married to you. Sorry. Sorry, Carrie. Sorry.
Now
you're a saint.
Absolutely. So, but the salesperson.
Now you know why Magnus is on the phone.
Yeah, exactly. To get away from me.
I don't want to talk to my dad.
So she would know that I was getting cranky. Carrie would say, "What, are you hungry?" The salesperson went to the back. They had like a little crackers and candies. She bought them out for me.
Something that small.
Right.
You bond right away.
Boom.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
And then we started talking. She bowls with her husband. That's her little thing. She knew my son's name because one of those visits we came with Magnus. The next visit we didn't. So she took a note. Again, good sales, good technique, good listening. She's like, "How's Magnus doing today?" Boom.
It's so hard to say no to somebody when they've kind of like befriended you.
Yeah.
It really is to say, we're going to go somewhere else, unless it's a major deal. Go back to the car dealership. I bought from the car dealer.
Right.
Not the car. Yeah, the car's great. You can get a Jeep anywhere.
Right.
You know,
lots of choices.
Yes, lots of choices. So this one's got 26,000. That one's got 23,000 miles.
Right.
Yeah, you want to be a stickler if that's your thing, whatever. Yeah. In the long run, it's not going to matter. But trusting the kid that sold it to me instead of the other one who didn't listen. And I originally bought it from the other dealer years ago. And I said, you know what? You got my business. Something happened in between. I tried to rectify it. Never got calls back. Got treated poorly. Right. I went to the other dealership. I bought from the kid. I didn't buy from the dealer.
Right.
Just like, yeah, I'm sure you like the furniture. You couldn't make a decision. You could have gone to another place. If she was not nice to you or didn't listen to you, you could have walked out and bought somewhere else.
Yeah. No, she was good.
And I think managers should understand that and reward their employees and stress it. I perform at a great resort, and they do everything right from top to bottom. And you can't find an employee to say something bad about the owner. It's family owned. It's the #1 family resort in the country. It's Woodlock Pines.
Oh, yeah, big one. You sure?
Huge.
Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's expensive. I mean, growing up, I could never afford. We're doing an interesting charity with them. I'll tell you that later, but we're doing something different. Whatever. But anyway, they do things right over there. They stress family. Do you know to this day, they walk around every morning at breakfast and shake your hand and ask you how the show was last night?
Really?
Every table in that dining room. Every single table, the owners go up and ask, how's the show? Is there anything we could do for you? And people come back for 20 years. 20 years.
Well, I have some friends and some clients who've been going there. It's like their annual vacation.
Yeah.
And it's been a tradition, a family tradition.
Yeah. We're doing something really interesting with them because I've attained a level where I'm at now. I'm working with them. So this summer, I don't know what the dates are this summer, or it'll be this summer, next summer. We should have rotate in and out. But usually I get a residency every couple of years where you're there once a week for the entire summer. Or
they still find you funny.
They drink a lot. So, but we're donating the pay because I want to bring a family up there that needs to experience this, because I could never afford to go like that when I was a kid. Right. And with today's economy, it's very difficult. Inflation's high. So I want to make sure, whether it be a single parent, a single mom, a hardworking family, a veteran's family, or whatever the case is.
I love that.
So each time they pay me, we're putting it into a side account. We're going to choose a family and let them get away for the weekend or the week, depending on, the prices and stuff like that.
You're not half bad there, Baker.
I'm half bad, just a good half.
Yeah. No, I like that.
So it's but I want it at that resort for that reason, because I believe it's not just to get away. I could do it to any resort, right? But I want it at that resort because of the way they treat their people, right? The way they stress it.
So, yeah, I mean that's the overall. Again, it's not just customer service is one thing, but it's the customer experience. And obviously, Woodlock Pines and how they treat you, people working there.
Oh, yeah. You can't find an employee. Everyone's like family, and it's the communication. They speak to you. If you didn't know they were the owners, you would think they were just your friends. Right. They're wonderful, each and every single one of them. Right. They're just, and it's all from the top, communications. Right. It's great.
Listen, I am not listening, talking over somebody, lecturing, and so here's something. All right, here's another one. Every so often, I'm not proud of it. If I get really my knickers in a knot, okay, I might let out an expletive. Now, I don't curse at the person.
Right.
I would never say you are a blank. Right. But I'm like,
Say
this
what
is
the
right.
or
This is bullshit.
Right.
Right. I say something like that. Right. You know how many times I get lectured? They go right to this script. Right. Excuse me, sir. You can't use that language here. I will have to end the call. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Right.
I'm not cursing at you. I wouldn't. All right, it's not right. I said, I'm frustrated. I said, come on, this is bullshit, right? And they melt. Like, wait, okay.
They're triggered.
Expletive, right? What is it next? Okay, end call abruptly. I'm like, and I said, then I go into like, training mode. I'm like, listen, if I'm coming to you and upset, obviously I'm upset. Instead of lecturing me, and why don't you listen and find out why I'm upset and how do you rectify it? Because, you start to lecture. Oh, God.
But that comes from the top down. And it comes from, it's multifaceted. You have somebody on the phone listening to you going, I don't care. I get my X amount of dollars an hour and I don't really care.
Yeah.
And the company doesn't stress it. And the company is so afraid to fire somebody, nowadays because you got all this other garbage that they have to worry about.
Right.
If I fire you and maybe go into the corporate, it's one layer of crap over another, which is choking so many companies.
Right.
And again, I'm not putting you out of business by taking my business away from you.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's still my dollar.
Yeah.
And it's still my heart rate. And it's still my aggravation.
You get to speak with, what do we have? We have, that's how you're going to, vote. It's your dollar. It's whatever it is. Like you said, they're not going out of business, but.
Right. But you got a choice between Home Depot and Lowe's. Right. I go in Home Depot if I can't find somebody or I'm not spoken to. Well, I'm going to go to Lowe's. I'm probably not coming back to Home Depot. Right. I'm not saying that happened at Home Depot.
Yeah.
But if there's competition, you'll go find somebody else. Right. If there's no competition, like the lighting company, people who search on Google. You ever try like the social media companies are the worst because you can't get anybody on the phone, and you're getting I can't tell you how many automated messages I get back. Not automated; it's actually someone answered the question, but they didn't answer the question. Right. And are you listening to me? Why don't you find somebody who's actually reading it? And then I get snarky too. Find someone to help you with the big words and answer the question that I asked.
But you know what it is? It's they're incapable of a conversation. There's no more conversations. And it goes back to what you said, they're not listening to understand. They're listening to reply.
And I'll respectfully disagree. I don't know if I think they're capable in a corporate setting. I just think that the corporations don't hold them accountable, and they always, you had a trigger word, and if I don't address it, the company's now going to get in trouble and fired. Right. You know this for a fact. You're in corporate. Yeah. I'm not in corporate, but I know many people who are. Sure. And my wife's in corporate, and I can't tell you how many times that I see in corporate, they don't fire somebody, don't even discipline them. They're afraid to. They move them. They cover them. They give them a severance package. You always get rewarded for stupidity and not caring. It's got to come from the top down on how to care. And they need to hire customer service people that teach this, stress this, and they need to learn it. Because a lot of people, they hire this college-educated guy or girl just pushing a pencil, saying all the right words, for the paper. We've got to come together, and we have to get a team, and we've got to really tackle this. We got to throw this out on the back porch and see if anyone salutes. They love all those phrases, and it accomplishes nothing. Accomplishes absolutely nothing. Yeah, it's more like, what exactly is it that you do? Well, that's a good question. What we do is we get the team together, and we need to support each other in a micro way to really jumpstart this project. And maybe you can help on
We're going to look under the hood. We're going to get into the details. And we're going to get into the weeds.
It means nothing.
We're going to roll up our sleeves.
Exactly. That's what all it is. And I'm sitting there going, geez, how do you... When I was a cop, could you imagine me talking like that to people? Baker, where'd the gunshots come from? Well, Sarge, we're going to look into it. We're going to get under the hood on this. We're going to really get under opposite. Where the F did the gunshots come from?
Right.
I was first time on patrol. Funny story. I had a sergeant I hated. Turned out to be a great guy. I was just a young idiot. Yeah. He was street smart. He was good. He was just, I have utmost respect for him now.
Right.
First day on patrol, when we was driving down, I go, I'm all angry. I tell he didn't like me already. And I understand why. He had like 75 gun collars already. That's an arrest.
Yeah.
Don't know. So we stop. He stops the car. He goes, and he goes, Baker, get out. I go, well, what do I do? He goes, you're a cop. Figure it out. And he drives away. And he's right. I was a cop. I had to figure it out. I had to listen. I had to learn. He didn't put me in a bad situation. It was the middle of the day. I was walking a beat on a crowded street.
Right.
New York City.
Yeah.
You can't handle that.
Yeah.
Go turn your badge and gun in.
Wrong job.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
But I had to figure it out. It wasn't, I couldn't go to him with an excuse. And these corporations today, they don't hold their people accountable. They're afraid. They're afraid. And they don't teach customer service, man. They just don't do it. And to me, it's the most important thing of a company. It is the single most important thing.
Listen,
that's just me.
I'm a huge fan. And by the way, if you haven't seen Baker live performing, forget about customer service training using improv. From the comedy perspective, great entertainment, great show. How can people follow you?
You can go to Baker and Mark, M-A-R-K, bakerandmark.com.
Bakermark.com.
Yeah, or the quickest thinkers in comedy.com.
Right.
That's what we're known
Which
as.
is Mark, not you.
Yeah, I'm not even in comedy. I'm just
you're there. Okay. Great entertainment. Let me just say that. But you know what? If I wish, and that's why I have you on. I'll do anything I can to spread the awareness of how valuable improv can be. So let's end it with this. 3 things. Somebody's listening. It's a small business owner. Okay, they have limited resources. What is a tip, a strategy that they could easily share with their front desk people, the host, whatever it is in their small business to offer better customer service like that?
Well, the first one we spoke about, to me, the most important thing, listening to understand, not just reply.
Right.
I've gone into real estate companies.
Yeah.
And I use this example all the time. When you go to buy a house.
Right.
And the person comes into the real estate office and they say, okay, what are you looking for in a house? Well, schools are very important. I have 3 young children and I want the school districts to be good. And the person goes, okay, I understand. And then they come back with, the taxes on this house are very low. It's right by the highways, easy commute. I want schools. What are you doing?
Right. Yeah.
To me, you just kind of lost me. And then each peg of that is, then you're trying to show me the house. Oh, this is where you can do great kitchen. Schools were the single most important thing I said, and you haven't even touched upon it yet. You've already caused this
Number
wall.
one. But
you're not listening to me. To me, if I'm a smart person, you're just trying to sell me the house. You're not trying to sell me what's best for me. You're not taking care of me, taking care of you. So that's one thing, listening to understand, not just reply.
Yep.
Second thing is how to de-escalate a situation. And the way you do that, in my opinion, I did it as a cop, is by understanding, taking number 1, listening to understand, not just reply, empathizing, sympathizing with the person and saying, I'm sorry you feel that way. Let's see what we can do to fix this. Instead of all of a sudden, it's your fault.
Right.
I used to, when I was young, my ex-girlfriend had said this to me. I didn't understand it. She said, you don't apologize. I said, what are you talking about? I said, I apologize. She said, no, you say, I'm sorry you feel that way. That's not an apology. That's putting onus back on the other person that they're crazy for feeling that way.
Right.
And she was right. I had to learn that as a young man. I learned it as I got older. And you don't say to the customer, I'm sorry you feel that way. Say, I'm sorry this has happened to you. Let's see what we can do to fix it. Now, sometimes you can't fix it. Sometimes the customer is impossible.
Yeah.
It happens. But you don't know what that customer, it does. You're there for 8 hours anyway.
Right.
Listen to the person.
Right.
And if it is something you can fix, it's not like personal. Sir, ma'am, I'm sorry this has happened to you. You just kind of had a bad experience. Let's see what we can do to fix this.
Yeah, don't throw it back on them.
Throw it back on them. That's their fault.
I hate that. I hate that. That's a great
right away, go, so this guy, blah, 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 blah. Oh, don't curse at me. Yeah. Now you just made it personal. You're not listening to the person. Yeah. Of course they're mad. How would you feel if you had to wait on the phone for 20 minutes and be redirected over something?
Listen to understand, de-escalate. Do you have a third? A third nugget? A third pearl of wisdom?
Smile. Smile.
Yeah.
When you first see somebody.
Yeah.
You can't smile as a person that you're getting mad. You know? How you doing today, sir?
Right.
Just be real.
Be real.
Be real. Make it personalized, not personal.
Yeah.
Make it personalized.
There's something
Personalize
human
it.
about it. A
Yeah.
genuine smile.
Yeah,
Right.
genuine. It's hard to get mad at somebody who you think may be your friend or on your side.
Right.
You know,
Just when I think the show is really heading to the toilet,
I save it.
I'm telling you,
Yeah, it's just,
you really just revive it. You drop some good pearls of wisdom.
someone's got to save you from yourself, Tim.
Listen, the ratings are tanking. I mean, what are we going to do here? We
This
got to
is
get
it.
some likes,
That's
some
it.
clicks, some bells.
If you want,
know?
I got a tank top on. I'll take it off and show the guns. It's up to you. It's up to you.
Sun's out, guns out.
I don't want to.
I'm not that desperate
All right.
for. But
If it sinks that low, you let me know. That's
thank
what I'm
you,
here
sir.
for.
Thank you for coming back as always.
Thank you for having me.
Great stuff.
Do I get another mug?
No, that's yours.
Just
you got
one? Okay.
one. Yeah.
This is good.
Okay. Don't drop it. If you break it, that's it.
Is whiskey strong?
It is. It is. Yeah. So this is the Profit Express, and here I've been with a fan favorite, Mr. Scott Baker, improv comedic genius of Baker and Mark,
Yes.
quickest thinkers in comedy.
Yes.
And if you ever seriously get a chance to see one of their performances, it's a great night out. Believe it or not, this guy's very funny. All jokes aside,
We have for people who always want to ask when we leave New York, we are in Myrtle Beach, March 12th.
ooh,
Yeah,
March
the
coming right up.
Yeah, Comedy Cabana.
Nice, the
And
Comedy Cabana.
Comedy Cabana, and we're back in April in the Long Island area at the Malloy. No, we're just at Malloy. Which is the one in Rockville Center? Is that
Malloy.
Malloy?
Yeah.
Oh, we're in Malloy.
You should know these things.
Yeah, I know, I'm
What,
not-
the Chuckle Patch you're at? Or
No, we're at
No?
Malloy Performing Arts Center.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Awesome. So, hey, listen, it is the intersection of improv comedy and how it can help bad customer service and turn into a wow experience. I had the man himself on. Improv is a great tool, not just customer service, it's a communication tool. I love it. I embrace it. Take a class, okay? See Scott Baker. He's awesome. And, hey, if you like what you see, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And until next time, this is the Profit Express.